Okay. I was like, oh my goodness. So California wants to make kidnapping people legal. We're not going backwards to incarcerating women and putting them into institutions. We already know that the cops are fucking goddamn rapists out here, and all men have been calling women crazy as is. So there's no way to determine this generally just walking up to somebody. The majority of the homeless out here are not on drugs and are mentally ill. They are trying to target the people that are hanging out in front of their stores because they don't want to see them anymore. Here's another thing. What they're trying to say here is that being mentally ill is illegal, so we have the right to incarcerate you into a prison. It's a prison. I will tell you that. They're not doing that particular thing right now, but they've been kidnapping us against our will and forcing us into things that we didn't want to do. So if you're into freedom, don't come to California because they obviously are anti-freedom and they want to be goddamn male supremacists. And look, I mean, he's a fucking white man. I want to sit there and go back and try to go take us back to a historical time that we should have went through. Because what this does, I'm going to read it to you guys, but it's presented. This is why I hate the Dems and the state like this. That I think they're even worse than right-wingers. They get away with it because they put so much sugar on their fucking ass that they present themselves as we are help. And then in reality is they're looking, male supremacy doesn't give a shit what you go after, except for it goes after everyone, right? It goes after every fucking one. And it's typically the main person doing it is a white man because they have the fucking power. I have been trying to raise the issue that California has been kidnapping people and you try to mute it down. So what did your government tell me that I could do about it? Oh, you told me I have up to 2 years to sue? And then you denied me the fucking right to a fucking lawyer. You don't have the right to sit there and be someone's head doctor. The person that I would commit is this motherfucker. I would fucking commit this man right here. They're not going after these men's personality disorders. That's a mental health issue, isn't it? That's the bullshit with this. What son of a bitch sat there and said, this is a great idea? It's so crazy to me. Last night, I literally lost my mind when I saw this. Oh, they're going to take me in because I lost my mind seeing these fucking son of a bitches pull the shit. When I read this last night, I was like, this is not real. It was like, I literally just did a story on this topic with the cops pretending that someone's crazy and threw them they got them 5150 and they were not. That's what men do. When you do things like this, you have to look, they're going to abuse this. There's no way that it would be limited to this. Because what it means is that, oh, at any time they can go, oh, I think you're mentally ill. We're going to detain you. What crack are you on? You created this problem. So this is the resorting thing that they do. Oh, we'll just start arresting everybody and kidnapping them. They've been kidnapping people. There was issues in 2007 that I was bringing up. When they keep spewing this hate speech, this vile garbage that all homeless people are drug addicts and mentally ill. They kept doing this, and it's absolutely fundamentally not true. They have a problem with it when they don't want to see the shit that they created. This is from your system. This is all when I first came out here. And I was like, holy crap, I've never seen anything so terrible in my life. And we're talking the 90s. This is not a new issue. This is something from the rich. And the people running this state. And you treating people like shit. And you're sitting there trying to say, don't rape people. See, I told you, they're all rapists. Kidnapping is the same thing as rape. It has the same thing. It has no consent, right? You're doing things against people's will. You fucking hate freedom. And who are you to say that being mentally ill is illegal so we can incarcerate you? What in the hell? I would never stand for anything like that, you guys. You have the right to run around and be mentally ill. I don't have to like it, because I don't, because I would literally fucking commit Gavin Newsom. I would commit every fucking piece of shit PD son of a bitch male in this state. They've been the problem, and that is a mental health issue. And you're not going for that, are you? No, watch. Oh my God. I was laying here. Let me tell you guys. I was laying here and I go, we just talked about this, of the institutions and them committing people and how men keep calling women crazy like every day. And boy, do they heavily target Britney, okay? I was like, I'm still watching all that, right? Even though we know she has some issues, right? But people are literally calling on her when she didn't do anything. It may be creepy to you, but she didn't do anything to herself. You know what I mean? And they keep calling. And all I could think of is like, oh, that's nice. Now all they have to do is go, oh, we think she's off kilter. And then they're going to take her back again. I go, I would keep those knives, girl. I'd keep dancing with them. That's why she's doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I was sitting there going, well, maybe I should start dancing with some knives. Actually, I was like, I can't say shit, dude, because I used to flip swords and shit in my house. Because I wanted to do it on stage. And I was just like, they called the cops on her. I was like, she didn't, like, the video's just her doing this thing, right? I know it may seem scary to you guys, but it's not like I'm going to go stab people. She's just dancing around. Maybe she's trying to be a little creepy, but it was actually kind of, I was looking at it going, actually, that would have been fucking cool if you did that in the 90s. Why didn't you do that? I was like, because, you know, the pop stars wouldn't be able to pass with too much with that, but I guess one of them did. Anyways, this is where there's going to be abuses, okay? Just automatically, and you have to always look at this and where it's trying to creep back to. It's trying to creep back to old America, where white men freely raped all the kids and women and had them as property. So we're slowly going back over there again. Women do not pay attention. You give them all this power to do it. And then you cry, oh God, I can't understand why the Dems allowed us to lose our abortion rights. And I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I can't, I'm like, no, we're getting out of here. I was like, that's it. Yes, I have the right to sue, because government told me I have the right to sue them for the shit that they did to me here. I have the right to sue the people that were involved in it. You bet. So all of a sudden, after I do this clip the other day, right? I go, they totally did this thing against my will. And then the next day, he's signing shit like this. It's been a war. They're sitting there, they're promoting kidnapping. They're promoting goddamn kidnapping. No, and they kidnap people while this whole thing was going on, and I was like, I cannot believe these son of a bitches are kidnapping poor people. What they did here, let me tell you before we get, because there's a lot to say on this. I was so mad. I was like, I'm going to sleep it off. Got up. I go, I got to be in the mindset for this, and then now I'm pissed off again. Good. We're in a good mindset. Okay, so when the church people were kidnapping a shitload of homeless people and forcing them into a church area by bus. They didn't have agency to be able to take their own vehicles or anything else. And they were taken into a facility somewhere, and they were not allowed to leave until the next day. That is kidnapping. They have no agency. They cannot make proper decisions for themselves, and they wanted to hold them against their will. You are not allowed to leave. So I started questioning about this, and nobody saw the fucking wrong in it. You're all fucked in the head, and you are the one that should be committed. So it says more Californians with untreated mental illnesses and addictions could be detained against their will. Any fucking law that goes against their will. Yeah, I'm a rapist. Yeah, and forced into treatment. Forced treatment. We should not be for forced treatment. For so many reasons. Because addicts do not get better by forced anything, okay? They have to make the choice that they're not going to be doing that shit anymore. It doesn't work. It also causes trauma in some other people when they're forced into a program that they didn't want to do to begin with. People have been okaying this conduct too. Now what did it do to those people? Now they won't go in for help at all. Because now they have a very bad experience from that situation to now where they won't on their own make the decision to go in and get treatment. I have seen this over and over again. And then there's somebody on YouTube that had something like that too, right? So it means that we're doing something wrong. That was not the way to go about it. I'm not sure the proper way to go about it at this moment, but things saying, let's do things against humans' will, that you're a rapist. There would only be a time if you are a harm to self and others, right? And technically that was a situation, I would agree that it was. But beyond that, this should not be overstepping anything like that. And they're overstepping it now. Now what they did was made it where, oh, I can get a pissed off cop and he's like, hey, I'm going to go fucking commit you. And it will happen. 1,000% it will happen. Because the way it's worded is basically saying, if you're out there homeless, we could just detain you and throw you into a facility. And I'm like, I honest to God, cannot believe this fucking goddamn state is doing this shit. I said it's a neo-Nazi state, and I'm getting targeted over here. They fucking leave me in a fire at a goddamn Jewish synagogue. This is the people that are running this state. A bunch of neo-Nazis. Because this is something that Hitler would do, wouldn't it? Uh-huh. If it mimics something that Hitler would do, you know you're on the wrong path, dude. I mean, I could say a lot about this. So, but it's presented to be for the rich people to go, oh, we can get rid of these fucking gross homeless people now and just, arrest them all up. Because you don't want to see the shit that you created in this state. Oh my God. It's so disgusting. And I can't believe that anybody just stood back and said, oh, let them do this. This is a great idea, guys. But you fucked yourself, by the way. Y'all fucked yourself, women. Y'all fucked yourself. I honest to God don't know what intelligent person said, because there probably isn't any in this, that said, wow, this is a great idea. We're going to go, arrest some people for being ill. And it wouldn't include me. They always, I swear to God. More Californians with untreated mental illnesses and addiction issues could be detained against their will and forced into treatment under a new law signed by Governor male supremacist Newsom. A move to help overhaul this, here it is. A move to help overhaul the state's mental health system. It's like, huh? Like, it's just a nonsense, like this thing over here. And address its growing homelessness crisis. Yeah, so they want to arrest the homeless people. No. Only some rich fucking male supremacist bastard child would fucking look at this and go, yeah, yeehaw, Hitler. I told you they were kidnapping people. There's nothing fake about it. Because guess who's sitting there human trafficking those fucking Hispanics, right? So they got a whole bunch of them, right? And then they fucking shipped them out to another city. They've been kidnapping. Nobody should be for kidnapping. Nobody should be for any of this. Right here. This was the most disgusting thing that I've seen in my face in a while. Beyond that fucking death penalty thing for child rapists over in Florida. The new law, which reforms the state conservatorship system, expands the definition of gravely disabled to include, guys, people who are unable to provide themselves basic needs such as food and shelter. So if you can't get food and shelter, you're automatically mental and we're going to detain you. And so what they say, due to untreated mental illness or unhealthy drugs and alcohol use. Okay, can you explain to me how you're going to determine that somebody has an untreated mental illness just on the street? Okay, just let me, because I have people come in here all the time going, how are you diagnosing all these people? You know what I mean? I'm not diagnosing anybody with anything other than a PD, like the son of a bitch right here, because I can tell you right now that's the PD, because you came up with this. But technically, I can't go on the street and go, oh, that guy has, XYZ fucking thing with this and that. No, you can't, right? Some things such as anxiety or other things like that may not be the contributing factor to why they're on the street, okay? So if you have a brain, those two things don't need to equate to each other. And also maybe just being thrown out on the street through their fast food eviction system that they had going on here the whole time. And illegal eviction processes. Yes, that was actually a huge one. That was an area that they have yet to fucking fix. When they do that, the situation of going out there can cause other traumas, right? Because it's a very traumatic experience to be thrown out into a gutter. Let me tell you. Regardless if you were finding insane at the time, because that situation is PTSD all day long. So basically, when government throws you onto the street, they cause you PTSD. So they're not taking accountability for the mental illness that they caused the people that they threw out on the street, right? Okay, so that was one portion of that too. Then it says local governments say current laws leave their hands tied if a person refuses to receive help. Well, who are you? So you're not anybody's daddy, and you cannot make somebody go take pills and do whatever. Unless you had a conservatorship in the proper manner, not sitting there going on the street and detaining people. Did they erase this? That's what it said. Could be detained, quote unquote, detained against their will and forced into treatment. You could be detained against your will. So all it means is that any cop or whoever, this is what I think they're going at, any fucking rapist ass PD cop can go up to you and go, I want you to leave, or I just don't want you here. I believe that you have a mental illness and I'm going to detain you. Yes. And then it's sugar-coated with this thing. This is why we're doing this, for your own good. This is how Dems operate in the Dem state. I fuck a right-winger, because right-wingers, we know they hate us, okay? We know that they hate women and everything else. But here, they're like trying to present it like this is help. It's not help. Dude, this is the most vile, evil thing ever. Okay, and it actually gets into more stuff. Okay, it says the law is designed to make it easier for authorities to provide care into a prison system to people with untreated mental illness or addictions to alcohol and drugs, and many whom are homeless. Many, they're saying many whom are homeless. Your target is homeless people, not the rich, right? Because I can guarantee you that Gavin's probably a big ass drinker up in here going on like this. How are we supposed to get him detained? The bill was aimed in part at dealing, and nothing should be easier for you to detain anybody for nothing. This needs to be demolished. I go, if this happened to you, sue the fuck out of the state. I don't know what they could do legally, but I would literally get into a legal battle like you don't what. If somebody fucking detains me because they're like, you're ill and that's why you're out here, which that was never the case. I kept telling them, I go, the cops, it was LAPD, and they were treating me like I was nuts. Or that they were thinking that I was some fucking undercover cop. I had these other people. No, that was horrific. That was a gaslit nightmare. And that was only in 2007. I go, the cops did it. And they thought it was they thought it was crazy talk. And is it not factually true? They are gang members. They are fucking goddamn gang members. That's what they were covering up. But this is their point of view. And you should be afraid of their point of view, because their point of view was wrong. And it's going to be from their point of view to throw you into a fucking prison. But they're trying to argue that it's not a prison. Oh no, it's a prison. I'm going to tell you it's a prison. I just talked about it being a prison. And it's not even about mental health right now. It had nothing to do with any mental health thing. It's a fucking prison. They had people kidnap people off the street and throw them into a program. And mine, I wasn't even supposed to be in it because I was in the middle of a huge fucking lawsuit. And I was supposed to get a six-figure payout. A six-figure payout. And my concern was government was getting money hungry and wanting a part of the payout. It was fucking crazy. These son of a bitches are lowballs. They're the most fucking vile, evil son of a bitches on the fucking planet. These white men. They come up with this shit. And it doesn't fix the problem, does it? No, it does not. Maybe out of your face for about 2 seconds. The bill was aimed in part at dealing with the state's homelessness crisis. Oh, so kidnapping people who are not mentally ill, and even if they were, that's probably not the reason why they're there. Because most people on this planet Earth have a mental problem. I don't know one single person that is a healthy-minded individual. You have that Bible shit up your ass. So there's no way to determine that. There's no way to determine what the exact reason is why they are there. So they want to make it legal and say, I'm going to just arrest you because you're here. That's it. And they can abuse this as well on anybody else outside the homeless part, where let's say you did a traffic stop and they're like, God, you seem mentally ill. We're going to detain you. This is where it's going, guys. I was like, no way, no way, no way. California is home to more than 171,000 homeless people. Oh, more than that, dude, because there's a lot of people that hide out from those stupid counter people. Yeah. Anyway, but about 30% of the nation's homeless population, the state has spent more than $20 billion in the last few years to help them with mixed results. You kidnap people. You kidnap people, so you want to make a lot of kidnapping much easier. And you caused the problem. To try to blame it on drugs and mental health is absolutely outrageous. Man, I tell you, I'm so angry at this. It's so many different things. It's so many different things. And this is just disgusting. This is disgusting. I would never be for incarcerating a whole bunch of people. And again, it's targeted at poor. And it's saying that it is illegal to be ill. It is illegal to be fucking homeless. It's illegal to be poor. No. That's only something that a rich, white, male supremacist sociopath would come up with. Newsom is pushing his own plan to reform. Oh, that's his own plan. Thank you. Yeah, it's his. Up his ass. Yeah. The state's mental health system. This is his idea. I did not put him up there, you guys. I did not want no white man as a fucking governor of this state anymore. But no women were running. I don't know why. You would almost think that there'd be all these women like trying to get to be governor and shit up in here, but nobody ran. And it's going to mean that he's going to abuse women because he doesn't give a fuck about them. And he's also not a person of color, so he doesn't give a shit about their problems either. So, on here, he goes, which would overhaul how counties pay for mental health, behavioral health programs, and borrow $6.3 billion to pay for also unneeded, really, if you just start throwing everybody in there, to pay for 10,000 new mental health treatment beds. Beds. Do you guys see the institution? Beds. Are expected to go before vote next March. They're getting the institutions ready, ladies. Beware. Oh, fuck. And it was in California that the stories were, mostly for the American plan. It was up there by Sacramento, wasn't it? Where they started detaining women for their sexual behavior. You know that shit, right? It was in California. It was in fucking California, you guys. I gotta put that back up. The American plan. California is undertaking. Oh, and then they were asking me about if I had STDs, the AIDS thing, right? And they wanted to use it to tell people that I had it, if I had it, which I don't, if I rent somewhere. So they were trying to obtain that information to use in that way. And they were in cahoots with government. They were the kidnappers. They're fucking Christian kidnappers. I cannot, this state, I don't know why people think this state is really liberal at all. It's very neo-Nazi. They've been pro-rape. They've been pro-kidnapping. They've been pro-targeting people of color the whole time. And technically, I keep saying the white people are the ones running the drug rings and fucking doing all the shit. They're the ones with the money, right? And it's the white people human trafficking the women the most because they have the money and the fucking power to do it. And they're the ones that are causing people to go homeless. They're taking over all the fucking housing things. No, I want a fucking house, bitch. So, no, this is bullshit. We didn't have any chance at the American dream. None whatsoever. They completely tossed us out into the street. Let the fucking LAPD sit there and harm a kid. I'll be fucking damn, you ruined my fucking goddamn life. And nothing has got better. Do you see anything getting better? What you're seeing is a reversal in fucking history of them wanting to go back to old fucking slavery, whitey, fucking rapist, pedophilia shit. And have no agency. That's what they did. We don't even have the proper fucking income out here. They want to target all our incomes, throw us on the street and say that we're mentally ill and it was our fault. That's what they did. They targeted my fucking income. If you target someone's income, they're going to go on the street, don't you think, you idiots? And they keep muting us down because they don't like angry women. She's nuts. Oh, we got to take her in now. The legislation authored by Democratic Senator Susan Eggman. This woman, I could say, yeah, a woman that would be cool with this is insane. Do you know your women's history? Do you know women's history? I know a lot of us don't because they didn't teach it in school. So she's probably some older lady. I don't know who she is, but do you know women's history? Because at no point would I look at this and go, yeah, we should go back to that. Sure, let me get myself fucking committed. Is the latest attempt to update California's 56-year-old law governing mental health conservatorships, an arrangement where the court appoints someone to make legal decisions for another person. Well, you have to detain them first, right? Because you're not going to end up in court until you first just randomly arrest somebody or take them in, right? Yeah, so moved on over to this, so you kind of overlooked that, right? That they're just going to detain and take shit people that they don't like, that they don't want in their face, and no. Court appointed someone to make legal decisions for another person, including whether to accept medical treatment and take medication. Not everybody needs a nanny, but I already see where this abuse is going to get really bad, guys. It is. The bill was supported by the National Alliance on Mental Illness California. Of course it was. And mayors of the biggest California cities. Of course, the mayors are all mostly a bunch of white supremacist pig fucks. These like political people. They're assholes and they're liars. And they want to sit there and arrest people off the street. Who said that the existing conservatorship law has made it challenging to provide mental health treatment to those in need? Not everybody wants it. See, this is different. Okay, something that maybe somebody needs and something that some other person doesn't want. So you want to force your dick onto somebody else. And this right here is not an okay thing. Regardless if you want to do something like that. Yeah, I would like to arrest you all too myself because I think you're all mentally ill. But is that a proper thing to do? No. I tell you, maybe we should do that. If I run for the fucking governor of this state, I'm going to fucking commit every fucking white man into an institution. Okay, opponents of the bill, and they only did this, right? This pissed me off so bad too because they go, opponents of the bill, and it's like one fucking paragraph. Opponents of the bill, including disability rights advocates, worried that the new law will result in more people being locked up and deprive them of their fundamental rights. Exactly. Fundamental rights. A violation of human rights. You have a right to not take fucking medication. I think they hate that thought. You do. You have a right to not take medication. You have a right to fucking be mental. You have a right to be poor. That's it. You do. They're trying to criminalize those things. But again, like I said, a majority of that is actually caused by the rich, okay? So coercing a person into treatment could be counterproductive. This opponent is so weak that I'm like, it could be counterproductive. It is counterproductive. Because the coercing is rape, right? Because you cannot coerce somebody into sex, right? So coercion, it's kidnapping. You probably should use the proper terminology here. Kidnapping a person into treatment, because using those words is more strong, and it's actually the correct description of what's going on here. So kidnapping people into treatment will be counterproductive. That's the argument. That's the true argument. Yes, because it's not by choice. So again, addiction is one of those things where, if you're talking about just the addiction portion, is something that they need to make that choice for themselves. So unless they're totally out of it, then those laws are already there where you could take them into a facility, right? It was already there. So they're trying to argue like we need more power, but the power that they're getting here is actually more or less about going after people and just calling them mentally ill and detaining them so they can get them off the street. That's it. That's totally the MO. It's not about, oh, we're going to help mentally ill people. It is, we don't want homeless people ever, and so we need a law so we could just detain them all. It's that. It's like this legal thing about it. But if they were, here's the thing. So if they really were about the mental health thing, then it wouldn't just target a poor class of people, right? It would target everybody in the state. Why would there be specialty laws to go just after poor people, right? Yeah, this is the most disgusting, vile thing I've seen. Like I said, it's just insane. So Eggman said, detaining a person with mental illness against their will should only be used as a last resort. The legislation aims to provide an alternative. Oh, the wording on this is so ridiculous. You are detaining them. It says to detain them if you think they're mentally ill. So I don't know what this bullshit is. The legislation aims to provide an alternative to sending people with mental illness and addiction to the prison system. Why would you send mentally ill people and addicts to the prison system to begin with? It is a prison. So what they're going to do is put you in a different facility that they're not calling a prison, which is just another prison. Our state prisons are full of people who, after they've been restored to competency, are in the state prisons because of serious mental health issues and drug issues. I think that is the most inhumane way to treat the most vulnerable of us. And that got me to pause right there. You know why? Prison's supposed to be inhumane. Humane about prison. See, these people are disgusting because they're basically acknowledging that prison is inhumane. And then it takes it to another level. So it's like, oh, well, if you think that the being in prison is inhumane, then maybe you might be the neo-Nazi, right? And you're operating an inhumane system for people. The whole objective with a prison is to keep dangerous people away from the general population. Are we supposed to be having them in inhumane conditions? No, unless you're like a torture, you're into torture and shit like the CIA that likes to rape people. You need to make sure those things are humane, right? So you're acknowledging that you're doing inhumane things to other humans while trying to make this argument that it is inhumane to send them to prison. I don't know why you were sending them to prison to begin with, but no matter what you do right here, you're sending them to another alternative prison against their will. So you need to fix your prison system. Should they be locked up in these tiny cages like that? Probably not. That's another area, right? So, but you admit that it's inhumane. I would not be able to sleep at night if I was doing something that was inhumane. So you think is not inhumane, Eggman, you lunatic? So we're gonna kidnap them. I was like, yeah, it's no different because what they're doing is obtaining, so they full control of your life, right? And then they start obtaining all this private information on you, so anything you do, right? And they'll never let you go. It's one of those things no, they won't. And they'll keep harassing you for the rest of your life. They're like, you're mentally ill and you're going to be mentally ill forever, which is bizarre because I went through this thing where I had like this anxiety thing for like a short time. And then I don't need treatment for that. And they would harass me and go, have you seen a therapist lately for that? I go, I don't have a problem with it. What the fuck? So yeah, they'll start doing that. And that's not even for mental health things, you guys. It's just their general questioning. And I was like, oh God. I already know what they're going to do because we already had this issue going on. And so then it says the law takes effect in 2024. Well, I better get ready to run for the border. But counties can postpone an implementation until 2026. They need to demolish this. This needs to get the fuck out of here. And you already know LA is going to totally be for it. So no. See, now they just cause a thing where it's like, people are going to actually make themselves homeless to get the fuck out of here. The changes will serve as another tool to help the state reform its mental health system by creating a prison to throw people into. The mental health system? No. Last year, Newsom signed a law that created a new court process where family members and others could ask a judge to come up with a treatment plan for certain people with specific diagnosis. Well, that's different. Because they already got an issue, right? And so what's the problem? Why'd you have to do a thing to detain people against their will? That you can literally just say, I think they're crazy. That's a different thing. So here they're saying come up with a treatment plan for certain people with diagnoses like including schizophrenia. Yeah, so they were already diagnosed with schizophrenia. You're not running the street going, I think you have schizophrenia and we're going to detain you. That's a different thing. And the law would let the judge force people into treatment for up to a year. But we've been having people say that we've been crazy, right? To all women. So, and if you look at the historical thing on mental health, just generally of them in that field, how wrong could they ever be? They were calling sexual psychopaths to the gays. Yeah, see, this is very dangerous territory. And not everybody is actually pro getting therapy. They're not pro getting doctors like that. There's nothing I could do about it, but that's their belief system. And unfortunately, that should not be up to me to do that force them into doing that. Unless they are a harm to us. Now, who I think is a harm to us is white men. So, then therefore that should include you, right? Because that's a personality disorder going on here. Your power and control and dick issues of raping everybody, that's a sociopath. So are you going to tell me that you're going to be able to identify that and detain them? Because if you do start detaining all the white guys, I'm going to be for it. But we know that's not your objective here. The court program starts this month in 7 counties, aiming to address the state's homelessness crisis. Well, the court program is different. The court program is because somebody was already diagnosed and they're trying to make sure that the person with that thing right there More Californians with untreated mental illness and addiction issues could be detained against their will. There was no because to me, I already see this slowly creeping up. I already do. Because they're kidnapping people right now. They've been kidnapping people. And they try to use this justification. They just lump sum everybody up and they're like they're mentally ill and or on drugs. So we could just kidnap them to some location and hold them hostage for like 8 to 10 hours. That is insane. And you sit there and question that all men are not rapists? They're fucking rapists because only rapists come up with a shit thing like that. Oh, don't mind me, ladies. Get in my car, and then drives you to their house, and you didn't fucking submit to go to their fucking goddamn house. They are anti-freedom in this state. They have always been. I don't know what shit fuck why people are going liberal nothing. If you're liberal, you're pretty more for freedom, dude. Like, to leave us the fuck alone. They're starting to try to change your personality, how you speak. Yeah, the manner how you speak. No, we're not doing that. It's so weird. They're being like those conservative Christians. We don't like the way you speak and your manners are bad. So we don't want you part of society. Huh? Don't get mad, that we're raping you. Don't call us a terrorist. That's hate speech. No. And even if you did consider it hate speech, I don't give a shit. Because I'm not going to be pro anybody fucking raping my ass and kidnapping me into any fucking place. And that's what they did. And that's where my anger came from. Because they kidnapped me, basically. And I was talking about it. And nobody fucking cared. And you just did this shit right here. We're not for it. We're not for it.